everyone. Kyle Chandler back from the Digital Innovation Team with JCPS IT3 on the print management series of videos. And today we're going to discuss your service and supplies and some changes that are coming and that are already in effect for any newly purchased equipment. So today we're going to navigate to the JCPS print management website, which is jcps.me/print. So if you type that up there in your Omni box, it'll redirect you to this landing page. Specifically, though, we're going to focus on those service and supplies, and they fall under a concept called the click rate. So first, let's discuss the benefits. Before anything that you needed, you had to create a PO for, contact a vendor, order, and then house until it was necessary, or in some circumstances, maybe do without until the thing arrived. So in other words, we didn't realize the copy machine was low on toner, and now it's totally out, and there's a letter that needs to go home about a school-wide issue last second, right? So we've all been in a situation like that. So the other side of that is we order a whole lot of stuff, trying to kind of keep those situations from happening. And they take up space, and potentially if a machine goes out, that product may no longer even be usable to your site. So we've kind of potentially wasted a few bucks there. So this really cuts that out in the following way. So as part of this click rate, which I'll help you understand better more in a moment, you get supplies and you get your service included in this. And so part of the supplies, the way that works is all of these new machines are hooked to the network. That is now a requirement when you purchase a printer or copy machine from JCPS Purchasing. Now, when you put a PO on, one of the requirements will be that there is a data drop, a data port available. So these machines actually keep a line open to their home base, right, to the vendor. And whenever let's talk toner specifically, whenever a toner cartridge gets to a certain level, let's say it's 30%, that machine will phone home to the vendor, say, hey, machine XYZ at X location needs to be replenished. And that vendor will package it, ship it, and it just shows up. No more waiting for it to be reported, takes the information to the bookkeeper puts on a PO, waits for PO to be converted, then vendor processes PO, vendor ships equipment. It cuts all of that out, which is wonderful. It just shows up labeled and you install it. So that also goes for some other supplies that may be necessary from time to time, but most frequently what you're going to run into will be the toner. Staples are an exception to that. That's included. You do get staples included with this, but you do have to call the vendor to request those when you get low. But they'll ship them out and take care of you in short order. So another nice piece of this is service. So service on these new machines is no longer done by JCPS IT3. They made the decision to outsource that to these vendors. And so when we have issues with this equipment now, we call what in most cases is a local company with vans that are running all over the city day in and day out. And instead of JCPS, having the two technicians we currently do that work on copy repair and maintenance, they have entire staffs devoted to that purpose. So we could expect to see a little bit quicker turnaround on repairs and maintenance for our devices. And then third is the maintenance piece itself. So they also will phone home and alert the vendor whenever maintenance is required. And that also is included. So if it needs a maintenance kit or it needs a new roller or whatever, based on how many pages it's produced, it will tell them and they will show up and take care of that in a timely manner. So it's kind of like an oil change on a vehicle. You really shouldn't let it go over too much, if at all. And if you let it go too far, it can do some serious damage. So this should help negate any of that as well. So all of that, however, is done now without a PO for each individual item. And so the question would be, well, how are we paying for it then? And the answer is through click rate. And so I've had this page up since we've been talking here, and it's an explainer on the print management site that takes you through the concept of click rate, what's included, and some examples of the cost you may incur due to this new feature. So how it works now is every time a page is produced off of one of these devices, it will talk back to the vendor, which will keep track. And at the end of every month, they will calculate how many pages you printed versus how much it costs to print each page. In the example below, you have a machine that costs 0.004 cents per page produced at 100,000 copies, and it equaled $400. Then you have a little more expensive machine to operate at 0.006, but they only do 50,000 copies, and it's $300, right? A color machine is even more expensive. So if you do 10,000 pages, it's $450, okay? So monthly, there is a blanket PO that stays open with the bookkeeper, and the bookkeeper just gets that invoice and pays it as it comes in. And that will be based on each machine. It'll be itemized, and it'll tell you how much each machine cost you, how many pages, and what that rate was. So that is how we are now paying for our supplies, our service, and our maintenance on the new equipment that we're able to purchase and or lease through this new program with JCPS and our vendors. So conceptually, that's very different than the way we've done things before. In the past, it was the librarian or the bookkeeper or the school secretary, or there was some point person that would be notified when something needed to happen to one of these machines, and they would kind of be responsible for leading the charge to either communicate back and get POs converted and supplies delivered, or put in requests for maintenance through the appropriate channel with JCPS IT. So no longer really the bookkeeper kind of becomes the point person for paying the invoice, really, and possibly ordering staples if they're alerted to that. And then you've got the service, which anyone can call and request service be conducted. There will be a tag on the device itself that will list a number to the vendor that you can call for service, and they show up and take care of it. The maintenance is the same thing. It reports and talks to the vendor itself, the device does, and they just show up and take care of it. So anyway, a lot of new exciting features that are part of this program. And so this was the first concept we wanted to discuss in this video. So there will be some others on the way, and be on the lookout. Again, as always, if you have questions or would like to talk to us, please reach out via the email here, or you can contact me directly. So thanks, and have a great day.